Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Sonya Thompson, and she is a famous walker from The Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2. Hey Sonya, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great.
That's awesome. I'm doing great. I'm so glad to have you on. I know Matt Burns set this up. I'm so grateful for him. He actually set it up last minute yesterday for me, which is like super exciting. So I'm so happy to have you on. I'm just grateful. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so this is truly a treasure for me.
Well, thank you for having me on, and thank you for being
Yeah,
a fan of the show.
not a problem. Absolutely, absolutely. So the first question I have for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
Oh my gosh, I started back in school back in the 80s. But it wasn't, that was just like theater,
Mhm.
local plays, church plays, things like that. And then I was actually in a gospel music group in the 90s, and did professional clown work. And then I guess in like 2006 or 2007, somewhere right in there, is when I transitioned over to film and TV, and I started out as a background actor, and before I knew it, I was getting lines in little independent movies, and it just kept evolving and evolving. And
Mhm.
it's just then all of a sudden I found out I was good at being a zombie. So it just
That's awesome. So I guess if we are ever in a zombie apocalypse, I guess you would be professional at that.
yeah, I think I could blend in very well.
Absolutely. So how did you happen to land the role of becoming a walker, which led to you being on seasons 1 and 2? And then were you brought back for season 2 after you were done doing it for season 1?
Yeah, I had well, start off with I did this little independent zombie movie,
Hmm.
um, and then from that it was called Night of the Jackals, and
Yeah.
I had a really good time with that. And I told the casting company that I've worked with that you know I enjoyed being a zombie. If anything ever came up as
Hmm.
zombie, to let me know. And so I landed an audition with Zombieland
Hmm.
and got a role in that. And then the following year, the same casting company cast me in The Walking Dead.
Hmm.
So, that was
Nice.
that, I didn't know we didn't know it was gonna be big. We had no
Right.
idea. And I was like, oh cool, I got another zombie, this is gonna be great, because I'd
Hmm.
helped out with the Zombieland training video and stuff for Zombieland, and part of that made it to the DVD. And so I was like, okay, well, this is really cool because now I'm going to be another zombie. And so a few of us bought the Walking Dead comic book to kind of get an
Hmm.
idea as to what it was about. And so that kind of gave us kind of a little bit of background on it and stuff. So that was really neat.
Awesome.
Um, yeah. So I don't know if I've overlooked any of your question there. I was trying to
No, you're
stay on
good.
top of all of it. Yeah.
You're good. So how were you brought back for season 2 then after you did
There we
season
go.
1?
I knew there was something else about that. They only out of they used 150 zombies season one,
Mhm.
well, walkers,
Mhm.
and season two they only brought back about a handful of us.
Mhm.
Um, so they asked me and about 15 others back for season two, which was really a great honor.
Nice.
So I worked on episode two and three, and then the last two episodes of season two is what I worked on.
Awesome. Awesome. So obviously the makeup process for becoming a walker is pretty grueling. What was that process like? Like what did you get done for that to get made up as a zombie?
Well, it all depended on how they were going to use you in the scene that day as to how much makeup you got. But most of the time, it was an hour and a half to 2 hour process. You went in, you got your wardrobe, and then you sat in the makeup chair for an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on what they were doing to you. And then you went and you had your eye contacts put in, your scleros,
Mhm.
and then you went to set. So your hair, you got your hair all done up,
Right.
and then you just waited until they had the scene ready, and you got to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Yeah.
hard work. It was long days. It was like 16-hour days,
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
us as the walkers, the main walkers anyway. Usually the hero they called us hero walkers. And we would get there a little after the makeup guys got there
Mm-hmm.
and the wardrobe. And then about 2 hours after that, like the extras would start showing up
Right.
and stuff. So, and it was always just very, very long because even at the end of the day, it took another 45 minutes or so to get the makeup off.
Yeah.
So I refer to that as zombie spa. So, because they would put a hot towel over your face to loosen up
Yep.
the makeup, and then they would, I mean, it was just a process. But
Yeah.
I would chill out.
Nice. So, you as a walker, for any of the walkers that you played, were you killed at all on screen?
Uh, not until really season 2, and
Mm-hmm.
that was at the barn, the burning of the barn
Mm-hmm.
scene. But season 1, I was pretty much the same zombie all year long,
Okay.
except for the very first episode, which they cut that part. I was at Fairburn, Georgia, where they filmed the little girl zombie getting shot by Rick.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they had my main scene downtown,
Mm-hmm.
they decided to cut my scenes out of the Fairburn because it'd be kind of hard for me to be there and downtown.
Okay.
Because my main scene was getting out of the backseat of a car
Mm-hmm.
in episode 4 of Baltos, and that was when when Glenn comes downtown to get the bag of guns from the tank,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes out of the alley and he stops off at a car, and I'm arresting Walker in the backseat of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out to go get him and chase him back down to the alley. Which I was on top of the tank at one point. I chased the horse at one point. I took a body shot in episode 2, I think, from Rick in the alley.
Nice.
And so, I mean, it was just like a
Mm-hmm.
shoulder shot. And then,
Right.
because I was in 5 of the 6 episodes, I almost was in all 6 episodes. But at 11 o'clock at night, one night they called me and it was like, hey, we're not going to need you tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was kind of bummed about it, but at the same time, I
Right.
got to sleep in.
Yeah.
So, because I'd been working really hard on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was all right. But season 2, um, I was like the only female military walker in episode 2 and 3
Okay.
when they went back to the camp, to like the FEMA camp in
Mm-hmm.
Otis, and all, Otis got killed and stuff.
Yeah.
So and then at the end I was there for the burning of the barn, which my daughter actually was in that scene with me as well.
Nice.
Yeah, which was really cool. She was
Awesome.
a hero walker in that.
That's
She
awesome.
got shot at the barn by Daryl.
Nice.
But yeah, we all kind of got shot there, and had to fall
Mm-hmm.
down and play dead. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, how did they do like the shooting scenes and everything like that? Obviously, it was a lot of it was probably done in post production, but like, did they have any like sounds on set or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean they had blanks in the guns,
Okay.
and you actually heard the noise of the gun going off and the bullets falling out of the
Mm-hmm.
guns. That was even in the alleyway when I got shot by Rick,
Mm-hmm.
in the shoulder, you could hear you couldn't you had to stay within a certain amount of a distance away, like 10 to 15 feet away from the blank gun as it was shooting at you,
Mm-hmm.
because they can be deadly,
Yeah.
as we know from past, movies,
Mm-hmm.
where actors have been killed. So, you have to really take all the precautions and stuff of not getting too close. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember one zombie actually, she got a little grazed
Oh wow.
across her face because she got a little too close. So she had a major burn on her face and everything. Um, but yeah, so you fell down most of the time. Like when we were doing those scenes at the barn, we were just falling right on the ground.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything up underneath us.
Yeah.
I know when I worked on Zombieland, in my scene, I had to take a guy down, and we had a mat to fall on, which he
Right.
fell on the mat most of the time. I didn't. I had so many bruises on me, it was crazy.
Oh boy.
Which when I was climbing up and down on top of the tank in
Mm-hmm.
season 1, I had a lot of bruises from that as well.
Okay. Wow. Crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So, what was the best part about filming your scenes in The Walking Dead, and what was the worst?
The best part was getting to work in close proximity to the main actors like Andrew
Nice.
Lincoln and Stephen Yeun and Laura Coin. You know, I mean, they were just so, you know, Norman Reedus, Arnie Singleton. He's an amazing fellow.
Mhm.
A lot of great actors, and you know, it's just getting to know Chandler Riggs and his family, and Addie Miller, that was little girl zombie. You know,
Yeah.
we're just like one big family, you know, and I
Nice.
just really enjoyed working, you know, with them and getting to know them.
Mhm.
That was really cool.
That's
And getting to
awesome.
work with Greg Nicotero and his makeup
Yeah,
crew was just phenomenal.
I
They're
bet.
just so amazing at what they do.
Mhm.
And, you know, getting to know the producers and the director, Frank Darabont, was incredible to work with. You know, those were all the bonus things, you know, and
Right.
watching the makeup artists create the art on me, using me as a canvas,
Mhm.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, what was bad was the long, hot days. And the contacts, having those in, that was not my favorite part because I felt very claustrophobic with them
Yeah.
on and in. And you know, it was kind of hard to see at times with them in, so that kind of made my brain disoriented, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense.
Yeah.
Um, but some days was so freaking hot. I mean, the heat index was like 105. And then in season 2, it was so cold that we were freezing. I felt like my toes and my fingers were gonna fall off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we couldn't wait for that barn to burn. It was like, "Burn, baby, burn." Um,
Oh my God. I can only imagine like
yeah,
go from one season where it's like over 100 degrees to where you're, the next season is like, freezing out, I can only
yeah.
imagine.
Well,
Yeah.
even season 2 was really hot too. We
Yeah.
filmed some nights, and even at night was hot, because we were talking about Georgia. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until the end we would film all the way into November before
Mhm.
Thanksgiving,
Right.
and so that's when it got really cold, like the end of
Okay.
September and in November.
Okay. Wow. Crazy. So, which scene that you filmed as a walker was your most favorite?
I'd have to say episode 4,
Nice.
season 1, you know,
Nice.
getting to work with, Stephen, you know, Glenn.
Yeah.
Um, we actually worked through lunch that day. There was about 5 of us that they asked to work through lunch.
Uh-huh.
So everybody else went, you know, down and ate, and we were up there working.
Nice.
Um, that was a really cool
That-
scene to
That's
shoot,
awesome.
and yeah, I enjoyed that tremendously.
I bet that is one of like season one, even though it's like 6 or whatever episodes long, it's one of my favorite seasons. It really is. That and season
Mine
2 are
too.
both my favorites. I've really enjoyed them, but season one had that special place for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it was just so amazing. And like I was watching back The Walking Dead, and I'm like, oh my God, like just looking at Chandler Riggs and like, oh my God, look how tiny he was.
I
And then,
know.
and then and then every season that goes by, you see him grow up.
Yep.
It's so
And
crazy.
that's, and you know, and now, I mean, he's an adult, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you know, I look at pictures of him now, and I haven't talked to him in a few years, but you know,
Yeah.
it's just I keep up, and it just amazes me. He's turning into such a wonderful young man,
Nice.
and he's still acting. He's still doing great. I'm very proud of him, and I'm proud of Addie Miller too. You know,
That's awesome.
she's in college, and
Yeah.
you know, I keep up with her as well,
Yeah.
and you know, it's just I'm proud of a lot of the young actors that I work with. I know some actors don't like to work with kids, but I've always enjoyed in any of the movies that I've worked on working with the young
Yeah.
actors, because they're so super talented and they're so freaking smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I did this movie called Prosper, and Addie Miller, she played my daughter in it, and Blake Cooper, that was Chuck on the Maze Runner, he was my son in it.
Oh, nice.
And yeah,
That's awesome.
and Kennedy. And so anyway, I had like these really awesome, you know, I worked with these really awesome kids in that
Mhm.
and in that movie, and that was actually a pretty good movie. That showed at all the studio movie grills nationwide, and it did pretty good. It was a good movie.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so
That's
it was
awesome.
awesome.
So why didn't you return for season 3?
You know, I was told season 2 that because I was seeing so much promotionally
Hmm.
that, you know, I couldn't really be used too much more. Now granted, I probably could have went back any of the seasons, and they could have made me look, maybe put a whole bunch of makeup on me and made me look totally different. But I gotta tell you, it's a lot of hard work, and I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. And so I wouldn't mind going back on maybe for this last season, but it's just a lot of hard work. And I'm 51 years old now, you know? And it just seems exhausting just to think about it, 16-hour days. And I'm like, oh my God, could I even make it through 6? So.
Exactly. So the next question I have has 2 parts to it. I'll ask them in, each part one at a time. But the first part is obviously, as you just mentioned we're in season 11. It's the last season. Do you still watch The Walking Dead? Have you watched all the episodes?
Yeah. I've watched all of them, and some seasons are, they just kind of drug by, and I'm like, oh my God, get me through the season, But then it picked back up again, and I've really been impressed with the past 2 seasons.
Angela Kang did a good job.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job with it, and the walkers and all the extra all the extra characters that they've added, and when I say characters, I'm not meaning just a main cast, or I'm meaning like some of the whisperers and the wolves and the, it's just, and I'm not going to mention what just happened in the past, this last episode, just in case people, because I don't want to spoil anything for people, but that freaked me out.
It did freak me out too,
I was like, oh my God, what's happening? It was like the link,
Yep, exactly. Like it freaked me out as well. And like I said, like you even said, no, I'm not gonna say anything because people might have a DVR or whatever. I mean, I honestly I didn't even finish the episode. I think I have like maybe 10 minutes of it. I fell asleep with 10 minutes left because I was at a wedding in New York this past weekend, and I got back from Sunday, so it was a 7-hour drive. And we left at like 6 a.m. from the hotel to come back to Maryland, and I was exhausted. I slept pretty much the whole day, and I woke up in time for Walking Dead, and I watched like maybe all of it, but the last 10 minutes. But I taped it, so I was gonna watch that when I got off with you.
Okay, all right.
So the next part of the question is, how do you personally believe The Walking Dead will end when the series comes to a close after this season?
Well, I think it's going to lead into the movie with Rick. I mean, that's something I've thought about for a few years now. When they first mentioned that they were going to do a movie possibly with Rick, I was like, you know what? That'd be a great way to end the show. That would be my personal way of, hey, let it end in a cliffhanger and then carry on into the movie, and then just finish it off in the movie. I think that would be an excellent way of doing it. And I think I'd heard that Carol and Daryl were going to have a spinoff or something. So
I heard the same thing.
Yeah. So it's there may be some way where they're riding off in the sunset or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I one thing, and this is like obviously people give their theories all the time. This is a theory I heard like years ago, and I don't know if I want to be kind of like happy or if it would piss me off. I don't know, but remember in the very first episode of the very first season where Rick, he's in a coma, he wakes up, and now it's the zombie apocalypse. What happens if the whole thing was Rick's dream?
Yeah, I've heard that one before as well.
Heard that one?
Yeah. There's been people talking about that for I guess since season 1, season 2, that it could happen like that. And I'm like, well, I mean, they could do that, but that would be really weird. But at the same time, you're like, oh, well, then everybody would be alive.
Yeah.
Would that be a bad thing?
Well, could they bring everybody back that was a main cast member? I'm not talking about like supporting roles, like like some of the, like, I don't know, like the saviors or the whisperers, like the people that died that were the minor roles, but like bring everybody that was in the, like, even just the first season, just the main first season cast, bring them back and they're alive, and then maybe even have like I don't know, the people from like the main cast from I guess Negan and all that stuff. Like maybe they are part of that group or whatever, or they came into the group somehow, like link them all together. I think that would be pretty cool, but I don't know like how they would do that. I mean, it would be a twist, but I mean, I don't know. It'd be tough.
And yeah, it would be. It'd be kind of cool though. In a way. But
I would
at
love
the
to see
same
like
time,
Glenn back, and maybe even Glenn with Maggie, and they do have their kid, and their kid is there, there or whatever, Yep.
Yeah.
Another rumor I heard was like Carl would be telling the story, or even Judith telling the story like as an older lady of everything that happened, like back when she was a child, and now she's an older girl, an older lady, and like it's kind of I guess the whole virus is kind of dying off now, or something like that. I heard as well. I don't know how that would go, but I know originally I heard it would be Carl, but then I heard Judith. So
yeah. Well, that would be kind of a neat twist as well. But I don't know. I mean,
I think the movies would be a good idea, and then kind of end it with the movies. I don't know how they would do an end for that, but I think if they're already announcing the movie, and I heard they had 3 movies going on, so they have like 3 different movies, and I heard they're gonna be bringing back Jadis for them or whatever too. Like just so many different rumors, but I think it would be so cool, like like you said, end the series that is a big cliffhanger that is like, you're not going to know how this really ends until you see the movies.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the smart thing in a way, because then it just carries over, and then you can really finish it with a movie. The movie was 3 parts, and from what I understand, like a 3-part series.
Yeah.
So it would be the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
And now the ending, how it would end, I would hope that they would be actually starting a new way of living, where maybe the zombie virus has been contained, and it's finally been abolished and went away. It's which we found out in season 2 that the virus was inside of all of us, inside of everybody on The Walking Dead. And so it's like, well, what if they found a cure? And everything could go back to not so much normalcy, but normalcy that they could just start all over, start a new, just start life all over again, and start rebuilding.
Absolutely. And I mean, that would be amazing too. I do think though, even if it's in the movie or whatever, like to end it, there has to be a cure at the, like, because you're not going to have any more seasons or any more movies, so you have to have that cure to an extent where you're kind of rebuilding your life, and you're rebuilding your the world, so to speak.
I think it could be done. I mean, heck, if they wanted to, they could even use the Guidestones in Georgia.
Oh my God, yes. That would be awesome.
We went back down to Georgia, and we read those Guidestones that were there, that were placed secretively, anonymously, and we figured out how to like restart,
awesome.
Restart the world.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. That would be so freaking cool. So the last question I got for you, do you have any other projects, films, or convention appearances that you would like to promote, as well as any social media accounts or websites to plug to the listening and viewing audience?
Okay, well, I did a movie in Maryland called Killed on Arrival, KOA, Killed on Arrival.
Yep.
I don't, it's still filming right now because COVID's kind of, put a, damper on that a little bit, but I filmed that back last year up in Maryland with Matt Burns. And so tell you, I've produced a documentary, and we've been trying to get it out for like 4 or 5 years now. And it's just trying to find a distributor for that. And it's just been tough, especially with the COVID now. It's been a little bit tougher. So I've got that. My next appearance, I haven't been doing a lot this year because of the COVID stuff, just trying to stay safe, and with it going amongst everybody. It doesn't matter if you've got a vaccination or not, it's
Right.
still running rampant, So I've just kind of not done a lot, but I do have one coming up at Columbia Manor in Columbia, Alabama.
Okay.
I think it's in October. I want to say it's the second weekend of October. I should have brought that with me and bring it in, but you can go to Columbia Manor or to their
Okay.
Facebook page and you can get the information there. But Larry Mainland's going to be there with me, and there's going to be a couple other walkers there and stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Yeagers and Sherry Holcomb, she's going to be there. So there's going to be 4 of us there, and we're going to be signing autographs and stuff. So
Nice.
I'd love to see some people come down there because this place is really haunted.
Nice.
They've got a haunted house inside of a haunted house.
Oh my God, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and I've been down there before for some appearances, and they brought me around one time in the back of a hearse.
Yeah.
There's no air back there.
Oof.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, get me out of here.
Oh my
And
God.
of course, as we came around, I took my hands and went down the window, scared people. But they're like, oh my God, there's somebody back there. But this place, I actually caught a image on camera in one of the parlors of the house one night, and it was the good doctor tipping his hat at me. So I mean, this place is really creepy. There's some real stuff that goes on in there too when you're going through it. But it's a good little haunt, and it's got, it's in a very, very small town, extremely small, but it's a really good haunt to go to. So I encourage people to go and check it out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, right now that's the only thing I got going on with that. I've only filmed on a couple commercials this year, but I've auditioned for a lot of things. That's really, really about it right now.
Okay. All right. But, before I let you go though, I do want to give Killed on Arrival a little bit of plug. Do you want to let everybody know what that movie's about?
Well, I think that I'm just gonna say go check out their webs. Go to their Facebook page, go check it out. They've been posting some pictures over there and stuff. I get to kill somebody in it.
Nice.
Let's just put it that way. That was a lot of fun to work on, and I enjoyed working on that movie tremendously, and I can't wait to do another movie with Matt Burns.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I filmed up in West Virginia, right there near Maryland, on a Bigfoot movie up there, and also another movie that was called Boggs Creek, I believe it was. And those two or Bottom Creek, but maybe it was called Bottom Creek. All of a sudden my mind just went blank. But 2 very good movies that were filmed up in that area near you, and I've enjoyed working up there with all the filmmakers in the Maryland and West Virginia area. It has just been incredible. I just want to say that right now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, go check out KOA, Killed on Arrival.
Yeah.
And just go to the Facebook page, check it out, and see what you think about it. Awesome. I think it's gonna be a really, really awesome movie.
Absolutely. And Matt Burns is a great guy. So definitely support him and support indie horror as well, because, a lot of the indie horror stuff coming out there is a lot better than a lot of the big distribution production company, Hollywood related stuff. Like there's a lot of talent in the indie film. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, there really is. And there's a movie that I'm not in called 13 Fanboy that Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 5 produced and directed. And that looks like that's going to be a killer movie. Once again,
absolutely. She's a good friend of mine as well. I've been helping her promote that so much with having people on to hype it up. And I mean, definitely check that out. The trailer just released for that. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine as well. So she's just a really sweet lady and very creative. And she's a very good producer, director, and actress. And I'm very excited for her. So that's the reason I want to give her a quick plug on that. Even though I'm not involved in it. I mean, I donated some money and stuff, but still, I'm just very proud of her. Very, very proud of her.
Absolutely. I'm proud of her as well. And I can't wait to see that. I know I asked her, I said, Debbie, please get that to be in a theater in Maryland. She goes, for you, Scotty, I'll do my best. So hopefully she gets it in a Maryland theater. I know it's going to be in a Los Angeles theater. Release date is October 22nd for that. So definitely keep a lookout for that as well. But I thank you so much, Sonya, for joining me. It's been an honor to talk to you.
Well, it's been great talking to you as well. It's nice meeting you. I hope to meet you in person at some point.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll work together on a project with Matt Burns at some point. You never know.
That'd be awesome. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity of being on your show. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. I had a fun time, a great time, and that was so great to talk about The Walking Dead and also plug 13th Fanboy and Killed on Arrival. It's really been a great fun time, and I'm really grateful that you were able to do this on very short notice.
Oh, I'm glad I was too. So you have a great night.
You do the same. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.